Hello students. Today I will be discussing about propositional logic. This video will be in two parts. In my first video I will be discussing about what is logic, what is proposition, and what is propositional logic, the types of propositions and the types of connectives. As you have already learned in computer science, we are continuously engaged with programming statements through syntax and the flow of control to check the validities. The procedure of validating the statement is based on certain reasoning. The study of such reasoning is termed as logic. So we can define logic as a formal method of reasoning which may result either true or false. And this is a tool to grant our thoughts and bring it into reality. There are various ways to provide a logic. It can be done through thoughts, signs, signals, and statements, etc. The logic endeavored through sentences is termed as propositional logic. Now we can see what is propositional logic. Propositions are called sentences or statements that may either be true or false, but it may take no other value. The propositional logic represent logic through propositions and logic connectives. So we can summarize the proposition and propositional logic as the propositions are simple sentences or statements which may be either true or false, but no other value. And the propositional logic represent logic through propositions and logical connectives.
Here are some examples of propositional logic or sentences. It is raining. It is a proposition, as it may be either true or false. England won FIBA World Cup 2019. It's a proposition. It is true. How are you is not a proposition, as it does not result in true or false.
There are two types of propositions: simple proposition and compound proposition. Now let's see what is simple proposition. A simple proposition is one that does not contain any other proposition as a part. For example, a simple statement, stay home, stay safe. We'll take some more examples. A statement such as, it is holiday today. It is a proposition which may be either true or false. Let's take another example. It rains today. Again, it is a proposition which may be either true or false. COVID-19 is contagious. It is true. Mangoes are sweet. It may be true or false. Another example, today is Sunday. It may be true or false. So, simple statements which may be true or false are called simple propositions. What is compound proposition? A compound proposition is one with two or more simple propositions as parts or components. A component of compound is any whole proposition that is part of a larger proposition. In other words, that two simple propositions when joined together through connectives forms compound proposition. And another compound proposition joined with another compound proposition forms large compound proposition. So we can say through this example, it will rain today. Let's take another example. It will rain today. Simple proposition. Another simple proposition, it will rain tomorrow. Now these two simple propositions can be combined through a connective called or, and then it becomes compound proposition. So we can say like this, it will rain today or it will rain tomorrow. Now this compound proposition again, it may be true or false. Let's take another example. Amit is a good singer. One simple proposition. Another simple proposition, Amit is a good composer. Now we can form a compound proposition by joining these two simple propositions by another connective called and. Amit is a good singer and he is a good composer, which may be true or false. Now, we already know in programming, when we write programs, we already are aware of it forming conditions. These propositions are nothing. These are simple conditions that we write in a program. Now, let's see what are connectives. An operator or connective joins simple proposition into compounds and joins compound into larger compounds. So connectives are operators which helps us to join two simple propositions into compound propositions and into larger compound propositions. There are different types of connectives we used in propositional logic. We have disjunctive, conjunctive, negation. We have disjunctive, which represent OR operation represented by a symbol plus or V. Then we have conjunctive, which represent AND operation represented by a symbol dot and inverted V. Then we have negation, represent NOT operation represented by symbol complement or bar. Now all these three operators, OR, AND, and NOT, are used in our programming constructs. Another two connectives are called conditional and biconditional. Conditional is also called if-then or implication. The symbols that are used to represent is called implication sign. Biconditional is also known as if and only if or equivalence. The symbol which is used to represent biconditional is called symbol of equivalence. Let's recap the whole thing that we have learned today. We have learned what is logic. Logic is a formal method of reasoning. We have learned propositions. Propositions are called sentences or statements that may either be true or false, but may take no other value. We learn what is simple proposition. A simple proposition is one that does not contain any other proposition as a part. Then we have learned what is compound proposition. Is the one with two or more simple propositions as a part or components. Then we have learned different types of connectives which join simple propositions into compound propositions. Disjunctive, which represent OR operation with symbols in the programming, and plus or V symbols. Conjunctive represent AND logical operation and represented by symbol dot. Negation represent NOT operation represented by symbol by complement sign. Conditional or if-then implication, and biconditional if and only if or equivalence. So we can summarize this as logic, propositions, what are simple propositions, what are compound propositions, how simple propositions are joined into compound propositions through connectives, and we have seen 5 types of connectives. We have seen disjunctive, conjunctive, negation, conditional, and biconditional. Thank you, students. We'll continue more about the functioning of different types of logical operators in the next week.